Hi guys, I welcome you all to another video on preparation strategy to crack treasury management. This treasury management is being offered by IABF as part of the blended course. Now, before we are getting into the details of this preparation strategy of treasury management, let me have a quick introduction about me. Myself, Kota Shashidhar Reddy. I am working as a junior associate in City Union Bank, Adilabad branch. I have completed a few certifications from IABF like KYC AML, JIAB, CIAB, Certified Credit Professional, Treasury Management, and Risk in Financial Services. I completed my BTech from Shastra University in the ECE stream. So that's all about me. Now let us get into the course details of this treasury management, like what to prepare and what are all the important topics to be covered to clear this exam. So in order to start your preparation, you need to purchase this book from Macmillan. This book is enough to crack this exam. The subject matter which is given in this book is enough for your preparation and knowledge base. So let us go through module wise and chapter wise of this book. Wait. Okay. Fine. So now I am not going to explain the concepts or topics chapter wise, but I am just going to tell what are the topics, important topics to be covered for your exam. Just 1 month preparation of these important topics is enough for you to crack this exam. If you want me to explain the concepts topic wise, I have given my number in the earlier two videos which I have uploaded in the credit management and risk in financial services. You can WhatsApp me, I will help you, and to my level best I will try to explain the concepts, because there is no point in explaining all these concepts now. I will just tell the important topics, because within 1 month of preparation, if you are able to cover the topics which I have told, it's a very easy thing to bag yourself this treasury management certificate. So let us start this first chapter with the financial markets. You know, the financial markets, in this chapter you need to cover an overview what are the different types of markets are available and what are their functions. When it comes to first chapter, it is dealing with the different types of markets available for the different types of products being offered in order to cater the requirements of different types of borrowers. What are the topics, what are the types of markets are available for us? We have capital market, debt market, foreign exchange markets, insurance markets, commodity markets, mutual fund markets, and money markets. Now in the exam he will be asking who are all the regulators of these different types of markets, and what are all the types of products being offered in these different markets, who are the market makers, what are all the products maturities, who are all the participants. These are all the things which are important in the first chapter. That's it. This is a very small chapter and a very basic chapter. You need to understand these markets very well, because definitely you will be getting 2 marks from this first chapter. So it forms very basic for your further studies. So don't skip this chapter, prepare well. It is very easy language, easy to understand. In one go you can understand all the concepts in the first chapter. There is nothing to explain. Now when it comes to roles and functions of the participants in the financial market, we have the different participants like banks, primary dealers, financial institutions, stock exchanges, brokers, investment bankers, foreign institutional investors, and custodians, depositories. These participants, how what are all the types of services being offered from these participants, and what is their eligibility criteria in order to be a participants of these markets. If you know, that is enough. Basically, what are the different types of products, what are the markets being offered, what are the products being offered by these markets. If you get to know from the first chapter, that is enough. Definitely you will get 2 marks from this chapter. And the second chapter is treasury, an introduction to the functions of the treasury. It is very basic and 2 pages chapter. In this chapter you need to learn only this page, that is different types of functions of the treasury, like investment, what is spread, what is arbitrage, what is proprietary trading, what is customer service and transfer pricing. Just this one page is enough from the second chapter. No need not to, you need not to worry about much about this. This is not that much important. Next, you come to scope and functions of the treasury management. This is bit important. You can get near about 3 marks from this chapter. Nothing is much discussed in this chapter. Only you need to know how to differentiate between the treasury assets and liabilities. Now, when it comes to banking book, we have assets and liabilities like OLCC, OSOD, housing loan, vehicle loan. These are all the banking book assets. And liabilities raised, liabilities the funds deposited by the customers. When it comes to trading book, what are the liabilities of the treasury department and what are the assets being created as part of the treasury, you should know. Just differentiation of assets and liabilities in the trading book is being discussed, but that is not that much important in the exam point of view. But the subtopic from 3.3 and 3.4, objectives of the treasury and organizational structure, these are the two important topics from the third chapter. Definitely you are going to get 2 questions from this chapter. What is the role of front office, what is the role of mid office, what is the role of back office? This is very important. Based on this topic only, nearly 3 questions are framed. Like front office is they just deal, and mid office they just take care of risk management, and back office is all about settlements, deal slip verification. So you should be thorough with the respective roles of the front office, mid office and back office. This 3.3 and 3.4 is very important. If you cover those 2 topics, that is enough from the third chapter. So that's all. That is what which is being covered in module A. Now come to module B, where in module B you need to go through very well, because this is the core part of this book. If you cover module B very well, you have cleared your exam. That's it. When it comes to module C and module D, it is a very little part of the exam, but most of the questions are framed from module B. And though the topics are bit concept oriented, but the level of questions which are being asked in the exam are very basic, so need not to worry. I will just tell the important topics and headings name. You just note them. You just have pen and paper and note down the topics whichever I am mentioning, because while studying for the first time or second time you can go through whole book, but it is not that easy, and there is no point in going through whole book when you are doing your revision. If you just go through the topics which I am saying and what are the types of questions being asked, if you are able to practice that, you can score easily 50 above, that I can assure. So let's start with the module B. Now in module B, the first chapter is liquidity management. In module B, the first chapter is liquidity management. In liquidity management, the basic function of the treasury department is to maintain the CRR and SLR with the RBI. So if they are failed to maintain those CRR and SLR, what are the penalty rates? Now while maintaining the CRR and SLR, they need to calculate the balances outstanding. What are all the components of the CRR and SLR? In order to calculate the outstanding balances, you should be familiar with those components of the CRR and SLR. So that may be questioned in the exam. That is important. And when it comes to Clearing Corporation of India Limited, this is important. Today I have written the virtual test. Out of 50 I scored 38. In that 2 questions came about CCIL, like government securities are being offered, and who is the central clearing party of this government securities? CCIL. This is very important. And no need of forex clear and forex swap. there is now nothing much important about it. So delivery versus payment, this topic is important. What are the developments in the delivery versus payment from the level 1, level 2 and level 3, that is important. And when it comes to risk management, under which securities, forex and real time gross settlement are discussed, those are not that much important. You can leave it, you just give one read, that's it. Structured financial messaging system, this point is important, maybe one mark question can be asked. So that's all about the fourth chapter. Now come to fifth chapter, integrated treasury cost. Integrated treasury, cost center and profit center. Now treasury is being well known for the profit center. How do they make profit? Because the functions of the integrated treasury is this topic 5.1 is important. There are few functions mentioned, 8 functions which treasury performs, that is important. Nature of integration, no need, just give one read, but read the benefits of integration. Structure of the integrated treasury is important, because from this 2 to 3 questions can be asked. They will be asking who will be reporting to the chief risk officer, what is the mid office responsibility when something happens, that is important. What is arbitrage is important. That's it, that chapter is also completed. Now come to treasury instruments. This is the most important topic throughout the whole book. If you are able to prepare this treasury instruments very well, you can score 30 marks, I can say, because problems are faced, problems are modeled from these topics only, because all the money market instruments are dealt in this chapter. So go through this chapter very well before the exam. When you go for the revision also, you better start with this chapter and go through twice and thrice. And when it comes to this chapter, what you should be studying is there are different types of money market products available from the day one, from the overnight to 1 year of span. There are different types of products are being offered. What is their time span is very important. Like if you see call money or notice money, there is a 14 days and overnight. And when it comes to term money, above 15 days or more, that is called term money. Who can issue? Bank fixed deposits. Who are all the participants in this bank fixed deposits? Who will issue certificate of deposit? What is the tenure of certificate of deposits? What are the limitations? To what extent they can lend? To what extent they can borrow? And what is the tenure to issue the certificate of deposit is important. Now when it comes to certificate of deposit or treasury bills, what is the price of the instrument being issued, what is the yield when the price is given. Near about 2 to 3 questions can be framed on this price and yield based questions. So prepare very well these price and yield based questions on treasury bills, certificate of deposits. Commercial paper. Now in order to issue the commercial paper, what are the requirements and who will issue the commercial paper? This is important. What is the tenure of the commercial paper? In how many lots the commercial paper is being issued? This is also important. So don't skip this chapter. What is the bill rediscounting scheme tenure? That is important. Interbank participation certificate. What is the tenure of the interbank participation certificate was the question today in virtual class level 2 exam. What is collateralized borrowing and lending obligation? This is important. Treasury bills is important. What is the 3 different types of tenure in issuance of treasury bills, like 91 days, 182 days, 364 days, and when they are issued in a week, that is important. Repo. When it comes to repo, ready leg price, forward leg price is important. One numerical may be asked from the repo, forward leg and ready leg. No need of repo pricing, that is a FRM level. You just do the numerical which is given in the 72 page based on the repo concept. That is very important for your first level. And types of repos, just give one read, and that's it. Your sixth chapter is also done. So sixth chapter is very important in the first level exam point of view. Don't skip this chapter. If you have any doubts in these money market instruments, you can call me. I will definitely help you. And if you want me to make me a video on these concepts, please mention in the comments below. Definitely I will make a video. In the interest rate quotations and market terminology, the very important topic is day count conventions. Two questions will be asked. What is the day count convention used in case of treasury bills? What is the day count convention used in bonds? Like we have A by 3, actual by 360, actual by 365, actual by actual. For the different types of products, what is the day count conventions used is important. That's it from the 7th chapter. Now when it comes to fixed income securities, this is somewhat big and lengthy chapter in module B. You will get numericals from this chapter based on the duration, modified duration, convexity, yield based auction, price based auction. These concepts are very important. When it comes to yield based auction, they will be asking what is the cutoff yield for the different types of yield mentioned, and what is the cutoff price for the price based auction. There is a concept in arrival of notional amount, if the yield quoted is below the cutoff yield, that is accepted. And when it comes to price based auction, they will come in the descending order from big to small. Who are all quoting the huge price above the cutoff price, they are accepted. Rest of the deals are rejected. This concept is important. One numerical question can be asked on this. Now what is long position, what is short position is very important. What is when issued market, one more question can be framed. And what is corporate debentures, bonds and debentures. That's it. Mostly important topics to be covered in the 8th chapter is auction process. What are the different types of auctions being conducted? Dutch auction, French auction. One mark questions can be framed on this. So go through the auction process. That is important. Other capital market instruments. Now other than these instruments which we have discussed, what are all the other products available for us to borrow, like preference shares, external commercial borrowing. When it comes to external commercial borrowing, there are track 1 and who are all the eligible borrowers, amount and maturity. Somewhat bit important. It is much more given in the book. Just go through once and remember just few numerical data. That's it. Not that much, but just give one read and keep an eye on it. That's it. So that's all about 9th chapter. But get to know about what is global depository receipts and American depository receipts. Very important. Definitely 1 to 2 marks can be framed on these two topics. So that's all about 9th chapter. Now when it comes to foreign exchange markets, when the foreign exchange quote is given to us, from the customer point of view, when he want to purchase or when he want to sell the foreign exchange, how he will be viewing that quote is important. Now the bank will be quoting the bid rate and ask rate. When the customer want to buy, whether he will be selecting the left side or right side, that question can be asked. And if the bank want to cancel or to make a crystallization, what is the rate used to in order to crystallize the bill, the opposite rate we will be using. That questions can be framed from the foreign exchange markets. Very basic questions, and very important is foreign exchange market terms. Very important. Just go through those terms very well, like what is a direct quotation, and what is term rate, what is forward rate, what is spot rate is very important. Numerical questions can be framed from this. Now when it comes to derivatives, the thing is derivatives is very complex products, but when it comes to treasury management they are not going much deep into the derivatives pricing, derivative pricing and all, it's very tough. But the IIBF syllabus is not related to that. They just what is enough for derivatives topics, very much important. And concepts to be known in the derivatives products is what is the difference between forward and future contracts. Like the futures are issued on the exchanges, whereas forwards are OTC. That just the basic difference between the futures and forwards is important. And what are the advantages and disadvantages of the respective contracts. The basic concept of these two is important. No need of pricing. So forward rate agreement, definitely you will be asked in theory near about 2 to 3 questions. Like forward rate agreement is it is expressed in the form of numerical in 3 by 6, 6 by 9. You should be able to differentiate from when that forward agreement is going to start and for how much period. That the differentiation you should know for the exam. In the first level there were 2 to 3 questions on this concept. So prepare very well with the forward rate agreement terminology. Based on the forward rate agreement terminology, definitely 2 to 3 questions can be asked. Pricing a forward rate agreement, no need, it's very tough to understand other than MBA graduates. That basic concept is enough. Now when it comes to swap, what is the need of a swap, if you know, that is enough. What are the different types of interest rate swaps, just go through once. But what is the essence of using this swap, you should know. Definitely 2 questions will come. And when it comes to options, this is also very easy topic, very easy to understand. What is call option, what is put option, who have the right, who has the obligation, you should know very well. You should differentiate, because those basic questions only are asked in the exam. And what is covered call and naked call, what is intrinsic value of an option, different pricing models of the option Greeks is very important. 13.18 option Greeks is important, prepare well. And mostly the essence should be given on what is call option, what is put option, who is having right, who is having the obligation, when do they exercise, when do they not exercise, when they do not exercise. If you are able to differentiate in that, then that's it, the questions can be answered. When a person exercise for the call option, whether he is in the money, out the money, or at the money, that should be known. What is in the money, at the money, out the money concept, you should be clear. Based on that only questions can be asked. So that's it for options. See, when it comes to derivatives, it is a very complex topic, but for in the exam point of view, they are asking very basic questions only. You just be thorough with the basic concepts. If you study in the book, it is very tough to grasp the concepts. You try to watch YouTube videos for this. For FRM course, there is YouTube video lectures uploaded. If you go through those videos, no, you will be getting the very good knowledge about that. So with that knowledge, you can answer the questions. Now, when it comes to derivatives, this is completed now. Swaps completed, options is completed, and fixed income securities, duration and convexity. Numerical questions are being asked from this chapter. What is duration? What is Macaulay duration? What is modified duration? What is convexity? When there is a change in the yield, what is the change in the price? So you will be given the Macaulay duration, and you need to find out what is modified duration. After getting modified duration, how do you measure the price change when there is a yield change? So bond theorems is also important for the exam. go through the problems which are given in the book, that is enough for the exam. Nothing will come outside of the book. If you are able to grasp the concepts of these problems from the book, your problems, your numerical problems, nowhere they are going to affect your marks. So be thorough with the problems which are given in the book, that is enough. Definitely I will be making some numerical videos related to this treasury management after 2 days. So need not to worry about the numericals. I have written all the numericals, the basic models which are being asked in the exam. I have prepared notes. Definitely I will be making one video on the numericals. Now bond portfolio management, you better leave this chapter, you skip this chapter, don't go through this chapter. People who want to learn this chapter for knowledge base, you go through, but exam point of view it's better to leave, no problem. Now come to module C. Now module C, treasury and international banking. Module C and module D, they are going to be very less portion for framing questions in the exam point of view. Be thorough with module B and module A, that is enough. When it comes to module C, treasury operations, the global scenario, how the globalization, liberalization and all affected, what changes it has brought in our markets, you should know. It is a very theory kind of topics, these all are. So you can easily understand. Exchange rate mechanism, risk analysis and control. In risk analysis and control, you should know the basic definitions of all the different types of risks. Mostly 20 to 25 questions can be from on the basis of risk. Those questions are based on the risk definitions only. So need not to worry. People who have cleared BFM, I don't think so it is a big tough situation to crack the risk based questions. Risk based questions are based on only the definition. So be thorough with the risk definitions. Exchange rate mechanism, like what are all the different types of rates which are offered, will be used in different situations. TT buying rate, TT selling rate. When you will be using these respective rates in different types of situations, you should be thorough with what rate is used in what situation. In BFM, I think in forex topic, those problems which are given in the book, just refer those problems. Those problems are going to help for this chapter in module C, exchange rate mechanism. And risk analysis and control, I told that basic definitions of different types of risk, that is enough. It is not tough. Module C. Module C is all theory. You should be thorough with the definitions, that's it. If you have any confusion in the definitions of these risk definitions, you can call me and you can ask me. I will definitely then and there I will clarify your doubts on the basic definitions of the risk. Now when it comes to forex valuation, you better leave this chapter. It is not that much important. It is only one page chapter. But know about the FEDI. FEDI rules is important. And ethics, morals and code of conduct from the dealing room. This chapter is important. 3 to 4 questions can be framed from this chapter. Very easy chapter, theory questions. So nothing to portrait about this chapter, because it is easy to understand, very lucid language, very easy thing. And components of multi-currency balance sheets, need not to go through, just skip this chapter. Don't worry, and don't make fuss yourself looking at the topics of forex valuation and components of multi-currency balance sheets. Just leave it. Now come to module D. Accounting and valuation, exposure norms, internal and external audit. These are very small topics. Accounting and valuation is important. From these different types of maturity based products, how do you shift the held to maturity from held for trading and available for sale? What is the rules framed by RBI in order to shift the products which are held for maturity to held for trading and available for sale? You should be very thorough with the RBI rules in order to shift these accounting and valuation products. And when it comes to exposure norms, that is all based on the risk definitions only. Again repetition, just go through that. internal and external audit. What are the different types of audits being conducted in the branches? We will see in our branch concurrent audit is being conducted, statutory auditing is being conducted, inspection by RBI. So you will be giving one situation and these people are coming and doing audit. What type of audit it is called? Those are all the questions being framed from this. Role of information technology in treasury management. We know how much that net technology has brought change from the outlay of market management to digital market. Even in the time of corona also, people shifted their treasury dealings from the office unit to work from home units also, but that is very risky. But technology has given that opportunity for us to continue the services even in this pandemic time also. So that is also theory topic only, just give one read. Regulation, supervision and compliance of treasury operations, very important. Near about 3 to 4 questions can be framed from this 26th chapter, and this is very important when you want to know the essence of the treasury management, risk management and all. So in the exam point of view, first 3 pages is important, that is enough. But go through this chapter, you will get the essence of the treasury management. So that's all about the module D. See, I just want to make one thing clear. People looking at the treasury management, they think that it is very hard. We cannot judge the book by its cover, or we do not know the depth of the sea until and unless we dive into it. That's all about this exam also. It is very easy exam to take. Definitely do not wait to take this exam. You will enjoy the courseware of this treasury management and you will definitely clear the exam. Just patience is must to clear this treasury management. You will be frustrated with some topics, but that depth of level questions are not being framed in the exam. Very basic questions are being framed. So the key rule to crack the treasury management exam is, behind the book there is appendix are given. In that appendix B is very important, where all the exam related questions, numerical questions are given backside of the book. If you practice those appendix B problems which are given at the back of the book, your 25 to 20 marks which are based on the numericals are all being covered in that appendix B. So if you are basically people who are not from the mathematics or finance background, they feel somewhat difficult to understand the numerical solutions. The basic understanding of this concept is very much required. If I get time, I will try to post videos on these numerical problems also. For the level 1, definitely those numerical problems which are being questioned in the exam are framed from the backside of these numerical problems only. So you can score near about 10 to 15 marks from the backside problems which are given in the appendix B. So either you skip something else or you don't skip, but preparing module B appendix is very much important to crack the treasury management exam. This is the heart of the exam. Module B appendix B is very much important. That's all about the treasury management exam. I am very much I have quickly completed this video without any explanation of the concepts or terminologies. The thing is, you need to get the book, purchase the book, read the book. You will definitely understand the concepts. In case if you do not understand the concepts, you mention the topics in the comments. I will definitely try to make a video on the concepts in a very lucid manner. If not, you try to contact me on the WhatsApp. I will explain the concepts. But try to take the treasury management exam. You will definitely regret if you miss the treasury management exam, if you do not opt for it. Because myself, who do not have any exposure related to treasury, I have cleared the exam. My first level I scored 52 marks, and in the virtual class today which I have taken the exam, I scored 38 out of 50. Virtual class is very easy. They will be sharing the PPTs and they will be taking the lectures. Your level 2 virtual class exam, 50 questions are based on the lectures which they have told and the PPTs which they have given. The questions are framed from that only. Only 2 to 3 questions of numericals will be asked from the book. That's all. Rest all questions are framed from the PPTs and lectures. If you are attentive those 2.5 days, your level 2 is done. If you clear the level 1, your level 2 is also done. Need not to worry about the virtual classes. Virtual class is very easy. You can clear the exam. There is no doubt regarding that. So any queries, any doubts related to concepts of this treasury management exam, feel free to contact me. I will try my level best to answer your queries. So thanks for your time. If you do like the content, please do share, like and subscribe to the channel. I have uploaded the videos on the credit and risk in financial service also. Go through those videos. Those two exams are also very easy to crack. I have uploaded the preparation strategy. So go through those videos. Thank you guys.